Say you were the head coach of the Bucks today. Where do you think this program right now needs to get back on track? Where does it start?
Well, I think it starts with the head coach, and you got a tremendous head coach here. John Gruden is an outstanding football mind and a football coach, and make no mistakes about it. The program's on track. We had, remember, we won a Super Bowl, and of course, everyone says, well, there were other players, but they still have to have the coach on top to get it done. He got it done. We've had some crucial injuries at crucial positions. We've got a lot of young players now. And John is still John. He's going to get the job done. I respect him and I back him. I think that he's one of the better coaches in football.
1989, you have a choice as head coach of the Lions. Barry Sanders or Deion Sanders. You think you picked the right one?
What do you think? What do the people in Tampa think? We did have a choice, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders. There were some of our scouting department wanted Deion. I wanted Barry. I went to watch Barry work out, and everybody in the world in football, and the owners were there from all the NFL teams, and coaches were there. And I remember Green Bay had already taken, they were going to take Mandridge. Dallas took Troy Aikman. You need to take a quarterback. And so we're sitting there with third pick. And I saw Barry work out, and I took out a cigar. I walked over, gave one to the head coach, gave one to his dad, and I lit mine up, and I said, you guys could all go home. I'm taking this guy. I mean, he was phenomenal. His workout was phenomenal, and I always tell people this. As great a runner as Barry Sanders was, Barry Sanders was a better person.
But for Sanders, football life was never the same after Wayne Fontes was fired in 1996. Just 2 years later, Barry Sanders would walk away from the Lions and a Hall of Fame career at the age of 30, with reports his lack of confidence with the new coaching staff factored in his decision. Fontes recalls a conversation with his former player the day he called it quits.
He just said, Coach, he said, I think I had enough. He said, are you ever going to come back? I said, no, Barry, I had enough. He said, I had enough. He said, I'm leaving the game healthy. And he said, that's over. And it was over. And when Barry Sanders says it's over, it's done, it's done.
Even more shocking than Sanders' decision to leave the game was the 1991 season, when an injury to offensive lineman Mike Utley changed the face of Lions history forever.
And I remember the doctor looked at me, and he kind of, after he did some tests, looked at me and shook his head like, this is serious. And all the players kind of gathered around, and they put him on a stretcher, mobilized his neck, and I never forget it. And like I said, it's because I'm still great friends with Michael. He put his thumb up when he was going off the field. Here he is, guy's going to be paralyzed the rest of his life. And he got his arm up and he gave the thumbs up and he said, win it. And they took him off the field, and that kind of transcended into a football team that wouldn't give up.
The Lions would go on to an NFC Championship game before falling to the Redskins. Still, 1991 was Fontes' finest coaching effort. And 16 years later, one of the many memories that makes a life dedicated to football all worth it.
When you're out on the water, when you're on your boat, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about, I don't know, when I'm on the boat just by myself or with my buddies, every once in a while when I'd peer out there and think about a game that came down to the last play, that came down to my last big decision. Do we go for it or do we kick it? But when I went into coaching, I wanted to be the best I could possibly be. I had a lot of great people that I worked for and worked under and respected in the game of football.
That's a great story, Drew. I have to tell you, he's one of my favorite people. I've known Wayne quite a long time. But, he didn't just distance himself. He distanced himself from football. He hadn't been around the football at all.
One of the main questions I wanted to ask him, and we did off camera, was basically, where have you been? Yeah. I mean, for the past 8 years. I mean, you see him around, but you don't see him in the spotlight at all. And I guess this is just a day and age where coaches, once they retire, guys like Bill Cowher, they immediately take jobs as analysts or in other high-profile jobs. And Wayne Fontes has that aura that you sit down with him and you feel like you've known him for 25 years. So he's had offers. ABC has come to him. ESPN has said, hey, you can be the next John Madden. Come work for us or just come be a guest on our set. But he's declined everything. And I think there's still a little bit of him that maybe thinks that he kind of got a raw deal to end that whole tenure in Detroit. I think now Lions fans appreciate him more for what he was than when he was there.